Sup Tooms, and welcome back to my channel, where I test blasters outdoors in real world conditions to bring you the results that I want to know. This is the Nailclipper, a 3D printed Bullpup Nerf Revolver, very similar to the DR-12 Quasar from Cyberpunk 2077, though admittedly with half the ammo capacity of the video game gun. The Nailclipper was designed by Bruce at Leedle Dynamics and dropped off to me by Foamwork Adelaide, who sells these in Australia for a mere 50 kangaroos a piece. It's a manual string-powered blaster. When you pull back the slide, it draws back the elastic and the 8-shot cylinder rotates into position thanks to the grooves on its surface. Moving the slide forward again pushes a dart out the front of the cylinder into place in front of the elastic. I think you can see where this is going. When you pull the trigger, the elastic is lifted up to collide with the rear of the dart, flinging it out just like how a crossbow works. And it fires those half-length darts in excess of 100 feet per second. I will show you the full chrono test later on. The Nailclipper is a prime, kid-friendly option, able to be dialed down using weaker elastic. But it does also have some nice benefits that might lend itself to adult nerfers too. For starters, it is dead silent. When I was firing this around the house, all I could hear was the sound of the darts hitting the walls and stuff. And with 8 shots in the cylinder, it'd do pretty well in pistol-only rounds too. When the cylinder's empty, if you pull the slide back, you can pull out this pin at the front and swap in another full cylinder. There's even a belt clip to hold 2 spares preloaded. On the cylinder, there's small arrows to show you the correct orientation, and you can also top off the cylinder with more darts at any time without even removing it. Just slot them in from the back, making this a great option for scavs who like to pick up darts off the ground. For a 3D printed blaster, the Nailclipper is incredibly simple in design, which gives it great durability and makes it easy for kids to use. If you are buying this one for the kids though, just make sure they don't leave it in a hot car or outside in the sun, as PLA+, the material this is printed in, can warp under extreme temperatures. Up top it has front and rear Picatinny rails where you could add real steel attachments like torches or sights. Unlike what I'm showing you here, I wouldn't recommend adding a sight on the rear Picatinny rail because the added weight will cause the slide to open all on its own. Maybe add your sight up front instead and add a torch on the bottom rail. At the back between the T-handle there's a small rear iron sight, and then forward of that, about halfway along the blaster, just above the grip, there's a front iron sight as well. For a blaster like this, honestly, I think the irons are all you really need. On the sides of the grip, there's some decorative cutouts with a coloured insert visible inside. Moving on to the trigger pull, it doesn't have any feedback or a wall to it. Instead, it just flexes until the elastic fires. And up front, of course, there's 2 rings where you attach the elastic. Now I also found that unlike in the games, you can actually dual wield these. Just hook the T-handles together and then push the back of them to close it. Not the most effective, but if you like to dual wield, can be done. On Foamwork Adelaide's website, you can choose the original ambi version or a right or left-handed version. Both of these are right-handed, so it is a little bit awkward to hold it with the bar going across there on my wrist. But if you chose a left-handed version, it would be on the other side, and the ambi, it's in the center. That's about all I can describe about the blaster without testing it. It's just that simple of a design. There's no safety, there's no rifling. Not sure how you'd even add rifling to a stringer. But let's get started with the chrono test. Okay, chrono testing worker darts. I'll fire 2 cylinders worth, so 16 shots total. 101. 94, 60, 109, 81, 99, 109, 103. Let's quickly change this cylinder over. 79, 92, 105, 103, 101, 94, 109, 99. So we did get some shots over 100, up around that 109. Not too shabby for something that's just flinging darts with elastic. Over the Chrono, the Nailclipper shot a high of 109, low of 60, average of 96, and had a standard deviation of 13. So it's not the most consistent in velocity. Most blasters tend to have a standard deviation below 10, and being the first stringer I've ever tested, I'm not actually sure whether they're usually like this, but I suspect elastic just isn't the most consistent propulsion method for a Nerf dart. Depending on how it rubs along the shell, different amount of friction between shots, and where it impacts the back of the foam, that could vary slightly between shots as well. With those Chrono results in mind, let's move on to a range test and then the accuracy test. Okay, now before I do an accuracy test, I need to know how far this low FPS pistol can actually shoot. So I'm going to just stand alongside the target, shoot back down the range, and see how far all these darts go. I'm firing just 5. Oops, I hit a tree. Okay guys, so just looking at the fresh darts, there's some old ones out here too. This is averaging about 29 meters, so a little tiny bit short of my 30 meter usual accuracy test where that table is. So I'll bring it closer today. Okay, let's get this accuracy test done as quick as I can because we have storms coming and I don't want to stand out in the rain. Just gonna aim right at the white sign. Hit. 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 Change the cylinder. We have rain starting. Let's get this done as quick as we can. Hit. Actually, that might have been on the cinder block. Hit. Hit. Just missed to the right. Hit. 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 Okay, so the table where I normally test from over there is 30 meters. We're a little past halfway closer to the target, so about 12 meters. This is the distance where I could get every single shot to hit, except for that one that slightly missed to the top right. Overall, I'd say within 15 meters, you have a very good chance of hitting your target with this thing. This is more made for kids indoors and stuff anyway. Although for adults playing a stealthy style of gameplay with this thing, you're probably gonna be closer than 15 meters anyway. Okay, so I tried a few different ranges for the accuracy test. First I tried 20 meters, then I stepped closer to 15 meters, and then I ended up settling on 12 meters shown here as thunderstorms started to roll in. 12 meters is how close I needed to be so that every dart landed within the 1 meter spread of the target. So I'd say 12 meters is the effective range of the Nailclipper. You could definitely land hits further than that, up to the maximum range of 29 meters. I will say though that your chances definitely diminish the further back you are. With no rifling and elastic powering it, it was never going to be a long-range Nerf sniper in the first place. It's just not that kind of blaster. But now that I know how it does perform, who do I think this blaster is for? Well, it's definitely a solid option for any kids that you know. It's a simplistic, low-cost entry into the world of 3D printed blasters, so I think it could be great if you're wanting something to get them hooked. It's also low power enough to be a decent option for around the house. And it's also incredibly quiet, which I'd say is its one tactical benefit for skirmish use. Personally, for our 300 FPS cap games here, I'd never use something this low power unless I was specifically making a video on it like today. But I did have a lot of fun trying to get kills with it, and they felt a lot more rewarding when I did manage to get one. And also, its shared Bullpup Revolverness to the DR-12 gave me an excuse to theme a video after one of my favorite games. If you want to pick up a Nailclipper, check out Foamwork Adelaide at the links down below. I'll also add some links to Leedle Dynamics if you want to check out their other projects. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down to let me know what you thought of it, and leave a comment down below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.